Now, on the morning after the late Pope Francis was laid to rest, mourners are gathering at his tomb in the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore in central Rome. He's the first pope in over a century to be buried outside Vatican City. Hundreds of thousands are expected to pay their respects to the Pope, who died on Easter Monday, aged 88. The pontiff worked right up until his death and was celebrated for his dedication to peace and to the poor. On Saturday, around 250,000 people from around the world attended his funeral service at St Peter's Square. DW correspondent Jack Parrock is still in Rome. Good morning to you, Jack. You were one of the hundreds of thousands witnessing Saturday's funeral mass. What's happening there as the sun rises on Sunday?
Yeah, it was a really powerful day yesterday, seeing the funeral, and then we saw the coffin move up to the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore, which is now where people are able to go already this morning to go and visit the tomb of Pope Francis. It's a simple tomb in white. It just says Franciscus on the front, so people can mark where it is. He's the first pope in many centuries to be buried there, and he chose to be buried there because it's where the real practice of the Catholic faith happens. There are confessional booths where people can go and give their confessions throughout the day. It's a much more sort of working church than the Basilica of St Peter's, the Vatican, where many tourists pour in throughout the year. What is happening, though, is a mass is taking place on the steps of the Vatican. That will happen for a number of days, 9 days. We know that the mass will take place for those that weren't able to attend the funeral on Saturday morning, including over 130 delegations, world leaders from all over the world, but also around 250,000 people showed up.
So the fond farewell to Francis continues, Jack, but attention does now turn to who comes next. How quickly does that process to find a new pope get going now?
Relatively quickly. We expect probably by a week on Monday, somewhere around the 5th to the 9th of May, we expect the conclave will sit. It will be a very interesting one. Of the 138 cardinals that are eligible, so under 80 years old, meaning that they get a vote for the next pope, 108 of them were appointed by Pope Francis himself, meaning that this is a brand new conclave. And while some of the people that contested him 12 years ago, or not contested, but were sort of names up against his name in the conclave when he was appointed, there are still a few of them there. There are a lot of new people in the conclave that could come up. And the big question is, will it be someone like Pietro Parolin, who is the Vatican's Secretary of State, very well known, travels the world representing the Vatican, and has been a close ally of Pope Francis? Or could it be someone from another part of the world? One of the African archbishops, the Archbishop of Kinshasa, is one of the names that's being thrown out there. Or perhaps Luis Antonio Tagle, who is from the Philippines. Could we have the first Asian pope? There is a lot of speculation, and the reality is, while these names sort of fly out in the run-up to the conclave and even during the conclave itself, we never know who the next pope will be until that white smoke bursts out of the small chimney on the Sistine Chapel and the Vatican and the conclave announce who the next pope will be.
From another beautiful location in Rome, DW correspondent Jack Parrock. Many thanks.